Hello everyone. Today I will be presenting the Philippines-China Joint Energy Exploration Challenges and Way Ahead. My discussion is divided into four parts. The first part is the introduction, which includes the background on the Philippines' energy exploration in the 70s and other information related to it, followed by the review of the Philippines-China Joint Energy Exploration, highlighting the challenges. The third part will be the way ahead for this joint undertaking, and the last part will be my conclusion. As a background, the Philippines enacted a law in 1972 to allow exploration of energy resources in the country. Since then, explorations were conducted to address the growing demands of Filipinos for energy. And in 1976, oil reserves were discovered in the West Philippine Sea. The West Philippine Sea is a part of the South China Sea, which is located within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. It is, however, affected by China's nine-dash line theory. Hence, the then exploration activities of the Philippines was halted and undeveloped because of China's objection, viewing the Philippine exploration as a violation of China's territorial claims. The West Philippine Sea is a strategic location for energy resources with estimates of significant oil and gas reserves. Both the Philippines and China's interest in energy exploration in the area is driven by the rising energy demands and desire to reduce reliance on foreign energy sources. It is here where joint energy exploration comes in and subsequently became a part of the Philippines government's agenda. Philippines and China are among the largest importers of oil and gas in the Asia-Pacific region. Both are dependent on energy imports because they have a large demand for energy to support their rapid economic growth and development. Aware of the risks associated with their heavy dependence on energy imports, both countries are working to increase domestic production and develop alternative sources of energy. Let us look at how the past and present Philippine presidents viewed and decided on this energy exploration. Starting with President Arroyo's term, where a tripartite agreement called Philippines-China-Vietnam Joint Marine Seismic Undertaking was initiated in 2005 to allow these countries to do exploratory work in the West Philippine Sea. However, opposition groups criticize it as a sellout of Philippines' sovereignty. Following a petition filed by nationalists, the Philippine Supreme Court declared the undertaking void and unconstitutional. In 2011, President Aquino imposed a moratorium banning the energy exploration due to China's coercive encroachment on the West Philippine Sea, asserting their nine-dash line claim. The Philippine government then filed a case against China at the Tribunal Court regarding the coercion as well as the issue on the maritime entitlements generated under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS. 3 years after, the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague, Netherlands, ruled in favor of the Philippines. However, China has refused to recognize the ruling and continues to exert its influence over the disputed territory. Fast forward, President Duterte's pivot to China began in 2016 upon his assumption as the 16th President of the Philippines. In his determination to have a warmer ties with China, a joint memorandum of understanding on cooperation on oil and gas development with China was pushed for the exploration of hydrocarbons in the West Philippine Sea. When his presidential term was about to end last year, he ordered the termination of the Memorandum of Understanding with no apparent progress despite optimistic official pronouncements. The Philippines and China only went as far as positioning and setting up the technical working groups, but overall, discussions have been generally stifled by constitutional and other constraints. Also, the circumstances was exacerbated by COVID-19 pandemic. And now, the incumbent Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos, during his state visit to China, concurred with President Xi Jinping's proposal to resume the previously terminated Memorandum of Understanding on Cooperation on Oil and Gas. As expected, President Marcos's pronouncement on this accord earned disagreements from the Philippine jurists and experts, asserting sovereignty issue over it. It was further heated by the incident of alleged laser using of China's Coast Guard against a Philippine vessel reportedly ensued few days after President Marcos's visit to China. We have seen how Philippine presidents have differing views and decisions on the Philippines China joint energy exploration, depending on their foreign policy priorities and legal interpretations. The attempts to diplomatically negotiate since 2001 was not only rammed by the territorial disputes, where the Philippines and China are the main actors, but were also affected by problems on domestic laws, trust issues, and nationalist pushback. It is clear that the motivations and limitations of the decision makers affect the laying down of the supposed foundations for greater collaboration in energy exploration. Despite attempts to settle dispute issues in the international bodies, China's refusal to recognize the tribunal's jurisdiction aggravated the struggle for joint exploration talks. The tensions caused by China's militarization in the South China Sea complicates the situation. Lastly, it is well known and documented that the U.S. intervention, particularly on the protection of Taiwan and the freedom of navigation at the South China Sea, inevitably affects the joint exploration because of its proximity to the exploration area, which is the West Philippine Sea. As a way ahead, joint energy exploration could be a substantive steps for energy security as it provides potential benefits to both countries such as development of infrastructure, job creations, and technology transfer. This development is expected to create ripple effects on the economies of both sides. An institutional framework and legal parameters provides a solid foundation for the joint energy exploration. It minimized potential conflicts, promoting transparency and clarity. Here, a cross-functional cooperation is best applied in order to build a strong and diplomatic relationships. Bilateral agreement for peace and development will be a significant step forward for Philippines-China energy exploration, setting stage for settlement through a compromise agreement. The joint efforts can be equated to an open line of communication, which is a key aspect for security and avoidance of confrontations in the contested areas. It is a move that will espouse marine security and environmental protection as well. However, just like any other joint undertakings, the possibility that actions of extra-regional powers may complicate or set delay to what the joint undertaking can achieve. In conclusion, the Philippines-China joint energy exploration is viewed as a diplomatic tool for cooperation, as both countries recognize the potential benefits that can be derived from joint exploration and development, as well as the opportunity of enhancing economic and trade ties. It is in the interest of both countries to pursue diplomatic solutions to their disputes and to maintain stable relations that promote economic growth. Ultimately, the progress of joint energy exploration will depend on the President of the Philippines as the chief architect of the country's foreign policy. His decisions and political calculations will have a direct impact on the country's energy security. Shown on the screen are the references used for this report. Thank you very much. A pleasant day to all.